Chicago's Christmas tree ship, also known as the Rouse Simmons, set sail in 1912, loaded with thousands of evergreens and never returned, swallowed by a winter storm on Lake Michigan. A doomed voyage, eerie warnings, and a tragic holiday tradition made this shipwreck one of the Great Lakes' most haunting legends. More than a century later, its ghostly story still drifts through Christmas folklore. Underwear, alcohol, syphilis, murder, forbidden.
Oh, I've never heard of this. It's almost like the other sunken ship you talked about not too long ago. Um,
Yeah, the New
so,
Jersey shipwrecks.
yes,
I know, I
yes,
was sort of like, is this too close? And it is a little bit, but it was just so Christmassy. I couldn't resist.
right. Well, think the holidays are all lights and joy? Think again. This series dives into chilling true tales and mysteries that turn winter wonderlands into scenes of terror. Welcome to Holiday Horrors and welcome to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the dark, disgusting, and the disgraceful in our unmentionables. That's right, we've slipped into something more comfortable. Have a drink in hand, listeners. Hope you are doing the same. Welcome. My name is Amanda Kamada.
And I'm your co-host, Blake Roberts.
And I did that a little bit backwards, but I was so interested in getting into our holiday teaser because it is the holiday season.
It flowed nicely.
Yes, it did.
Um, well, let me share my sources. This is the most exciting part of the episode,
Of
and
course.
I've got 4 of them today. So pop your popcorn, pour your drink, and here's my sources. So WisconsinShipwrecks.org, a Google favorite, Chris, ChristmasShip.org, SeaHistory.org, lots of .orgs today, and then an article from WanderingEducators.com. On a bitter November day in 1912, the schooner Rouse Simmons vanished into a violent Lake Michigan storm carrying thousands of freshly cut evergreens, trees destined for Chicago families preparing for Christmas. The vessel, known across the Midwest as the Christmas tree ship, had become a beloved seasonal sight, arriving every December with its decks piled high and a spruce lashed proudly to the mast. Children ran to the docks to watch the holiday cargo glide into the harbor, but by late autumn of 1912, the old vessel was pushing its luck. What followed became one of the Great Lakes' most enduring holiday tragedies. Part shipwreck, part ghost story, and part cautionary tale of tradition colliding with nature at its most unforgiving. I love a cautionary tale.
Yes, and I know that lake, I assume you did say this was on Lake Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, Lake Michigan can kind of be like an ocean. Like the way, like spoiler alert, I've never been to Chicago. um, I've flown through there and I took a train through there one time when I was like 17 years old, but I've never spent any real time in Chicago. But from what it's been explained to me, Lake Michigan is sort of like an ocean in a way, even with like sandy beaches and stuff. So I'm assuming the waves can get very high there. So I'm interested to hear about this story. Plus, I bet that prior to the demise of the ship, I'm sure it smelled really good with all those trees on it.
Oh, I'm sure it
Very
was
Christmassy.
like lots of stinky men who haven't bathed,
Yeah,
but pine,
but
lovely.
pine, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think a lot of weather patterns start over the Great Lakes.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, there's a lot of big storms and stuff that happen up there.
Right.
Well, let me just tell you a little bit about the Rouse Simmons. Built in 1868 in Milwaukee, the wooden schooner weighed 205 tons and was named for its major financial backer, Rouse Simmons, most well known as the founder of Simmons Mattress Company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Rouse Simmons spent much of her life hauling timber across the Great Lakes. In the early 1900s, she entered a second career, becoming a seasonal Christmas tree ship operated by Herman Schuenemann. I think. Let's go with that. He was the longtime Great Lakes captain who earned an affectionate local nickname, Captain Santa. Around the mid-1880s, Herman Schuenemann and his older brother August left Wisconsin for Chicago, drawn by the booming commercial traffic flowing through one of the busiest harbors in the world. More than 20,000 vessels passed through the city each year, and competition among captains was fierce. The brothers quickly learned to be not only capable sailors, but savvy traders as well. Although they earned a steady living, it was the winter season that defined their fortunes. Nearly two-thirds of their yearly income came in the short stretch between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Two-thirds of your yearly income just in that 1 month between the
Yeah.
holidays. Do you think they just like spent like a good chunk of the year just like relaxing with their like Christmas tree money?
Yeah, and it's really funny because I was talking to somebody about this who used to do like food trucks on like carnival and state fair circuits, like in the summertime. And they said that they would always meet people who, and they did it just in the summertime as like for additional income, but there were some people like on the circuits that like can be very difficult to get into, which I'm sure like Christmas tree vendoring is probably sort of the same sort of thing. It's hard to get into, but once you have like your spot, you make a lot of money doing it in a short amount of time. And they would meet people who would spend their summers, going to different state fairs and stuff with their food truck, hauling it around the country, and then winter in like the Bahamas or something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty good gig.
I know, I'm thinking about quitting my job and becoming a Christmas tree
Vendor.
captain.
Captain Christmas Tree.
Yes. So by the mid 1890s, August had built a reputation as one of the city's most determined and successful Christmas tree merchants. So remember, August is the older brother.
Mhm.
Then in November of 1898, tragedy struck. August traveled north to Sturgeon Bay to secure thousands of trees for the coming holiday season, loading 3,500 of them aboard the schooner called the S. Thal, like S period Thal.
Mhm.
On November 9th, he set sail with three crew members bound for Chicago. Somewhere off the coast near Glencoe, Illinois, the ship encountered a violent storm and disappeared. All aboard were lost. Herman, who had stayed behind that season, likely because his twin daughters had just been born, would carry the family tradition forward alone. So that's not even the story that I'm telling. Just
Oh, he died in a
coincidentally,
separate
yeah,
boating accident
yeah.
or
So
shipwreck.
tragically slash coincidentally, the older brother died during a shipwreck, also delivering Christmas trees.
Wow.
Yeah, lightning can strike twice in the same place.
Apparently so.
The younger brother made a point of selling trees directly from the ship to working class Chicagoans, often for just a few coins, decorating his vessel with lights and festive branches. For more than a decade, the tradition brightened winters for people who might otherwise have gone without a tree. So I don't know like what the comps were at that time, but the articles that I read made it sound like he was selling at like a discounted rate so that basically poor families could enjoy a Christmas tree like everyone else.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. The voyage of 1912 began with an ominous warning, one serious enough that a crewman chose to walk away before the ship even left port.
Smart.
It sounds like it. Sailors watched as rats began leaping into the water through the hawser pipe. I meant to look up what a hawser pipe is, and I forgot to do it. I'm very curious. I don't know.
Mhm.
But if you have the time, go check it out. Hawser pipes on schooners.
Is it Hauser?
Hawser. Are you Googling it?
Mhm.
Amanda's going to tell us all about the hawser pipe.
It says the hawser pipe is used to center the line from the bow of the boat to the center of the drum when the hatch opening is off center, when there is no access point to the drum or where there is no hatch. So it's a strong metal tube passing through the ship's bow, which I believe is the front of the ship, guiding the anchor chain from the deck down to the anchor, protecting the hull from chafing. So it sounds like it's that area where the anchor drops from, so there's like a little
Mm,
hole. So that's my guess is where the rats were jumping off of.
yeah, so all makes sense now.
Yeah.
So they're jumping, just leaping out from the hawser pipe. To most people, the loss of a few pets might seem like good fortune, but apparently among mariners, rats abandoning a vessel has long been considered a dire sign, meaning
Really?
basically meaning like if there's something that bad on the ship where they're like nesting and they have to get off, there's something
Something's going
not
down.
good on that
Yeah.
boat.
Okay.
So yeah, the animals make their homes like deep in the ship's galleys. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, um, when they start leaving on their own, old sailing superstition says the ship is destined to follow them into the water. So one crew member sees the rats and he's like, "I'm out of here," and the rest are like, "You're so silly." And then this happens. In late November 1912, Schoonemann loaded thousands of trees from Michigan and Wisconsin forests, preparing to cross Lake Michigan in the 42-year-old boat. Weather warnings were already circulating. November storms, gales capable of toppling freighters, were no secret to Great Lakes sailors. Many captains stayed ashore. Schoonemann did not. On November 22nd, 1912, the Rouse Simmons left port heavy with evergreen cargo. Thousands of trees were stacked deep in the hold. It was dangerously late in the year to sail, but holiday demand was fierce, and the profit potential was even more persuasive, which is totally understandable.
Right.
The last confirmed sighting came from the U.S. Life Saving Service station in Kewaunee, Wisconsin, a day later on November 23rd. The schooner was spotted moving south with her flag at half mast, which is basically like a distress signal. A rescue boat launched from Two Rivers in search of the Rouse Simmons, but by the time they reached the reported location, the schooner was gone. No survivors, no wreckage. All 16 men aboard were lost. It's just gone. Like the ship is just gone.
Wow.
So Schooneman had recalked the ship in 1911, but had failed to do so before departing in 1912, likely due to financial issues. So basically, just like cut a corner. The ship could hold around 5,000 dry trees without issue, but if the trees became wet, and especially if they froze, the weight would have increased drastically. And
Oh,
they
I
would,
didn't even think about that.
yeah, and they would have exceeded the weight limit. So this is potentially a cause for the ship's failure
Mhm.
because he didn't recalk, and potentially that's the reason why their distress signal was up. They're taking on some water. The trees are getting wet and freezing, and the ship is just getting too heavy. So, what disappeared into the storm soon resurfaced as folklore. Winter after winter, fishermen claimed their nets snagged on something heavy in deep water. Locals swore pine trees occasionally washed ashore, still tied with wire as though torn from a ship's deck. And a few have even claimed to have seen the ghost ship with its three masts and tattered sails drifting across the lake's surface. Then in 1923, 11 years after the sinking, a fisherman pulled up Captain Schoonemann's oilskin wrapped wallet, intact, sealed against the lake. It was the only personal object ever recovered from the ship.
Wow.
And for nearly 60 years, the wreck remained undiscovered. Then in 1971, Milwaukee diver Gordon Kent Bell Richard found the Rouse Simmons upright on the lake bed, 165 feet down, and surprisingly preserved in the cold fresh water. Inside the hold were trees still bundled, still recognizable. So nearly, what did I say? This is like 1912 to 1971. That's a long time. It's just crazy to imagine those trees still like intact down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
like
creepy.
probably bundled up together or something like that.
So,
Did they
so
ever find any of the bodies in that?
I don't think so. Some of the needles remarkably remained intact after more than half a century under the lake. No, I don't think so. Archaeologists later examined the site, noting evidence that the crew likely attempted to anchor during the storm, possibly dragged under by wind, ice buildup, and the tremendous weight of thousands of water soaked evergreens. The tragedy didn't erase the holiday spirit that motivated those voyages. In fact, it inspired a new one. Since 2000, the U.S. Coast Guard's icebreaker, Mackinac, has delivered Christmas trees to families in need each December, a living tribute to the Rouse Simmons and the man who tried to deliver joy across a treacherous lake. Today, the wreck sits within the Wisconsin Shipwreck Coast National Marine Sanctuary's designated 962 square miles of lake. And somewhere beneath Lake Michigan, the pines of 1912 remain intact, silent, and frozen in time. And that is the story of the
Wow.
Rouse Simmons, the Christmas tree ship.
Wow, that's really interesting. I never thought about, like, how Christmas trees get to where they are. I
Hmm.
never thought of them being, like, on a big ship. Well, I don't know how big the ship was, but I assume it was a decent size if it carried thousands of trees, but yeah, you gotta think of how heavy that would be. Because one Christmas tree is pretty heavy, and, I mean, I've never gotten anything more than probably, like, an 8-foot tree, but they can be very, very tall and full trees. So I could see how in that weather, it getting and then with waves or whatever, it getting wet and then freezing almost immediately because they're on, like, the Great Lakes or whatever in a very cold time of year, that probably did have some sort of bearing on the losing of the integrity of the structure of the ship and going down.
Yeah. So the schooner, you didn't said you didn't know how long it was. The schooner was 123 feet long,
Okay,
which
that's a
is a
pretty big size.
yeah, it's sort of close in size to like a Boeing 737
Okay.
or like a 12-story building, like on its side.
Mhm.
So pretty big, but it's like a big wooden ship with like the masts and the sails. So it wasn't like a contemporary boat.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Kinda like that boat that just, crashed not too long ago into the Brooklyn Bridge, or was it the Brooklyn Bridge, or it was somewhere in Brooklyn that historical naval ship from Mexico or something like that crashed into a
Yeah.
bridge in Brooklyn,
I think it might have
and
been the Queensboro, but it
yeah.
was along the same side of the East River.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah. It's crazy to watch that.
Yeah. It's like you could see it happening and nobody could do anything about it, and just, like, it looked like it was really slowly going through to it, but I'm sure it was going faster than anyone would have wanted it to, and
Yeah.
I do believe a couple people got killed on that.
I never read a follow-up, but I was watching it when it happened, like wondering. Uh,
Yeah.
well, speaking of Christmas shipwrecks, what's your least favorite Christmas song, Amanda?
My least favorite Christmas song is probably the Mariah Carey Christmas song because
That's
I've
fair.
heard it so many times. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Like, if I hear that one more time, like, I really hate that song
Yeah,
because it's been so overly done and you can't get away from it.
it's pretty bad.
Although although there is a Mariah Carey themed bar pop-up that's opened up at, this place called the Broken Shaker in Miami, so I really wanna go just to kinda see it because I love I love Christmas time. Like, I hated it for the longest time when we worked in New York and we had to work up by Rockefeller Center, and we were, like, right in the middle of all of it. Like, I got very disenchanted with Christmas and working in e-commerce world, like, I get very disenchanted with it.
Mhm.
But I love, like, little Christmas bars or bars with a lot of lights. Like those Indian food places
Uh-huh.
in New York that have all the Christmas lights and stuff up, like, I love stuff like that, so I really wanna go check out this Mariah Carey, pop-up.
Yeah.
What about you, Blake? What is your least favorite Christmas song?
Well, I'm not gonna count like some that are just silly, like the All I Want for Christmas Are My Two Front Teeth, that kind
Oh,
of stuff. I'm
yes,
not
those are
counting that because
yeah.
they're just bad.
Mhm.
But no, probably one of my least favorite it's my dad's, is Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney.
Oh, yeah, that one's pretty bad
Super
and
obnoxious.
overly played too. Yeah.
One of my favorite things my dad said was my aunt invited him to go see Paul McCartney live with her,
Mhm.
and he said the only way I'll go to see Paul McCartney live is if someone else pays for the ticket and if he apologizes for that Christmas song. That's
That's
how much he
amazing.
likes it. Um,
Oh,
did
yeah,
you ever
that's a
go
pretty
to?
bad one.
Did you ever go to? I think it's called Rolf's. It's a German, like a German bar in New York, but they always
Yes.
had the Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I feel like Miami doesn't do like a lot of big Christmas stuff. Like I don't know if I'm looking in the wrong places or what, or if it's because like I live around so many condos and stuff like that, but I don't see any like large Christmas displays like talked about. Like, and I feel like it's just kind of not very Christmassy here. And it's not just because it doesn't feel like Christmas because it's warm. I feel like it just doesn't, people just don't do Christmas up here like they do. And I mean, New York, they do it to, the nth degree,
right.
because that is like where Christmas is, and all that kind of stuff. So, but I felt like in Seattle, even when I lived there, that they did Christmas up a little bit more, and you could see Christmas lights in people's yards and stuff like that that I don't see here. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places, but do you feel like Phoenix is like that at all?
I mean, it just inherently doesn't. It feels less Christmassy just because the weather. Like
Hmm.
it was 72 degrees today. It's beautiful outside, you know.
Right.
But I mean, there are neighbors put. We're in a residential area, so our neighbors put lights on their houses. Not all of them. Not on our street. There's like a couple, but we do see some. I don't know. I'm not like a huge Christmas person anyway. Like I like the time off. I like I like the coziness of Christmas. But I like a quiet Christmas. Like I want to be at home with my lights on the tree and like a cocktail or a glass of wine and like a blanket and a movie.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Speaking of tree, have you put yours up for this year?
I have. In fact, for our next, before we start recording our next, I'll probably reposition because my lights are about to turn on.
Nice.
I have a Christmas cactus. That's like a saguaro shaped cactus, like the sort of stereotypical cactus,
Hmm.
but it's made of like the fake Christmas tree material.
I
Uh,
see.
so I just toss it up because it's flat. It goes sort of in the corner nicely, and then it's right by my little mini bar.
Nice. I
Yeah,
love that.
so everyone can get lit at Christmas.
Yes. Everyone can get
Yeah. Do
lit.
you do a tree?
Mhm. Yeah. It actually came with the condo. The guys that I bought the condo from already had like a fake Christmas tree and ornaments and everything, and they had it like stuffed under the bed. And the first year I just kind of found it and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing. I have a Christmas tree and ornaments." And it has like a little um, starfish at the top of the tree
Oh,
instead of a
that's cute.
star.
Yeah.
And
Is it a
it's
chocolate starfish?
no, it's blue and pink. Just like the tree, because the guys who I bought the condo from were gay,
I
and they
assumed it's
they did a
yeah.
turquoise and dusty rose theme tree, which is very pretty,
Yeah.
So I just adopted it. All my Christmas ornaments are sitting in my sister's garage in New Jersey because when I moved from Seattle, I put a bunch of shit in her basement that I still need to get out at some point. But I have like two huge boxes of Christmas ornaments from when I used to have like a home and did like the whole 8, 9 foot tree, and I've got a bunch of ornaments that like my Susan has bought me over the years and that sort of thing. But I simply don't have the space for that here in Miami. Like, I don't have the storage space for it. So, alas, it will be sitting in New Jersey waiting for me someday to bring it with me somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I was gonna ask you another question. Oh, no, it just made me think of the tree that came with the condo reminded me of like when you buy a picture frame from like Walmart, and it has a picture of some family in it. Like a couple. There's like a couple who just got engaged or something.
Yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to just put one of those up in my house,
Yeah.
and just just kinda laugh at it, like, "Who's that?" And like, "I have no idea. They're just in my home."
It would be funny to go into Walmart and put your own pictures in the frames,
It would
and
be.
someone else buy.
That would be a really good idea.
But, like, sort of bad pictures, like, not quality, it'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, really shitty pictures of yourself in the
Yeah.
frames. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, wow.
Well, that concludes our first holiday horrors,
Yes.
episode.
And that was an interesting episode. I was not, expecting it to I found it very strange. I thought, like, when you were about 5 minutes into it that the story was over because when you talked about his brother passing away, like, on a boat, doing essentially the same
Same
thing, I was
thing.
like, "Well, that was a really riveting story blank of all of 5 minutes long."
They should have ChatGPT'd it, jeez. Um,
Oh.
no, yeah, it was well, it's sort of crazy because I had no idea. I just was, like, uncovering the story as I was going, and I read one article that didn't say anything about it, and then when I got to the next article, I was like, "Oh my god, like, this happened exact same thing happened to his brother, that's crazy."
Yeah, that is crazy.
That family was cursed.
Yes.
Christmas
Well,
curse.
I can't wait to get into our next story, which will be just right after this.
You wanna
But
give
first,
do you wanna give any
yeah,
little hints or anything? Or do you wanna keep it a
um,
total surprise?
I'll do it as a total surprise.
What can you tell me? Is it holiday related?
It is holiday
Oh, I
related.
got it.
Yeah, you're so good. And it's very disturbing, which,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, which will be fun for everyone.
Yeah.
But before I will let people know that if they want to continue listening and watching our amazing podcast that we've taken a little bit of a break from during the holidays. It's been a couple of weeks since we posted our last episode, but you can watch on YouTube and or listen on YouTube and Spotify and Apple for podcasters at the Forbidden Pod. Check us out on the social sphere. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the Forbidden Pod. Send us your Santa nudes and ideas for the coming year. Send us your well wishes to hello at theforbiddenpod.com and check out our archives at www.theforbiddenpod.com. Blake, that was a great story to get us into the holiday season. I'm glad that my Christmas tree wasn't sunken. Well, my Christmas tree is fake, obviously, since it came with the thing. But that's one thing that I do miss about having a real tree is the scent. Because I love going, where they have Christmas trees set up at like Home Depot or,
Mhm.
like little independent places, and you walk through and it smells really heavily of pine. So I just got a Nest, diffuser
Oh, yeah.
that smells like pine this year, so my, condo actually smells like pine this year.
God, your plastic, your fake tree smells so real.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Blake, thank you again for kicking off our holiday series.
Thanks for listening to that tragic, wet tale of trees in the water.
And listeners, as always, we
Thank
thank
you.
you.